I'm Richard Clarke. Ramana Maharshi's teachings are deep and profound. Watch each day to deepen your practice. Welcome. I'm reviewing and commenting on the book Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. Today is from Talk 473. Questioner. It is so difficult to spot the mind. The same difficulty is shared by all. Maharshi, you can never find the mind through mind. Pass beyond it in order to find it non-existent. Questioner, then one must directly go to seek the ego. Is it so? Maharshi, that's it. Mind, ego, intellect are all different names for one single inner organ, antakarana. This mind is only the aggregate of thoughts. Thoughts cannot exist but for the ego. So all thoughts are pervaded by ego, aham. Seek wherefrom the I rises, and the other thoughts will disappear. Questioner, what remains over cannot be I, but pure consciousness. Maharshi, quite so. You start seeking happiness. On analysis, you find that misery is caused by thoughts. They are called the mind. While trying to control the mind, you seek the I and get fixed in being, knowledge, bliss. In this dialogue, the questioner struggles with understanding the mind and how to approach it through self-inquiry. They mention the difficulty in spotting the mind, saying this is a common challenge. Sri Ramana Maharshi responds, saying that trying to find the mind using the mind itself is impossible. Instead, you must move beyond the mind, ultimately realizing its non-existence. The mind simply is not real. It is an appearance within consciousness. The questioner then suggests directly seeking the ego instead of the mind, and Ramana agrees. He explains that the mind, ego, and intellect are all different names for the same inner faculty, known in Sanskrit as antakarana. Antakarana is a Sanskrit term that refers to the inner instrument, or the totality of the mind's faculties. It encompasses the mental and emotional aspects of a person, including the mind, manas, intellect, buddhi, ego, ahamkara, and memory or subconscious mind, chitta. Together, these elements make up the internal apparatus that processes thoughts, emotions, decisions, and sense perceptions. Ramana sees the antakarana as the composite tool through which the ego and mind function. The mind, manas, manages thoughts and sensory impressions. The intellect, buddhi, is responsible for discrimination and decision-making. The ego, ahamkara, is the sense of I, or individuality. And the memory, chitta, stores past experiences. The mind, as Maharshi explains, is nothing more than a collection of thoughts. These thoughts are inherently tied to the ego because thoughts cannot exist without the sense of I or ego at their core. The Maharshi's teaching is that by seeking the source of the I, the ego, all other thoughts will disappear. This is the essence of self-inquiry. Rather than chasing individual thoughts, you go directly to the root by investigating the sense of I. When you trace the ego back to its origin, you find that what remains is not the personal I, but pure consciousness. The questioner correctly identifies this pure consciousness as the state that remains after the ego dissolves. Ramana affirms this understanding and then shifts the discussion towards the pursuit of happiness. He points out that when you start looking for happiness, you eventually discover that misery comes from thoughts. These thoughts, collectively, are what we call the mind. As you attempt to control the mind, you are led back to the I once again. By focusing on this I, you become fixed in your true nature, which Ramana describes as being, knowledge, bliss, Sat Chit Ananda in Sanskrit. This state of pure existence, awareness, and joy is what remains when the mind and ego are transcended. Ramana Maharshi's guidance in this dialogue is clear. Don't get lost in the mind's complexities. Instead, seek the source of the I, and you'll find the mind dissolves, leaving you in your natural state of pure, undisturbed consciousness. So, know yourself and be always free and at peace. In 40 Verses on Reality, Ramana Maharshi explains the nature of the self, the ultimate reality, and self-inquiry. My new book, with my comments and inquiry questions, opens these teachings up and brings them into your practice and experience. Available now from Amazon. Link in the video description. These videos bring Ramana's teachings into your direct experience. Click subscribe to see more. Click thumbs up to like, and send questions and start a dialogue with a comment.